I think for me, Yeats, for example, was a Protestant. Now, if that's someone's problem about someone being Irish, well, he was a great Irishman, and he contributed so much to our country, as did Beckett. Joyce was a Catholic. Leopold Bloom was Jewish. Elizabeth Bowen was a woman and a Protestant. In other words, we've got to start putting a lot of hyphens in our identities. We're going to have a time in the future when someone's going to be Syrian and Irish and a woman and gay. In other words, that the project for over the last 30, 40 years in Ireland has been to make clear that you can be Presbyterian and Irish. That idea of saying there's only one way of being Irish, which is to be male and Catholic and straight and Irish. That's over. But also, some of us have received great hospitality in England. I mean, I publish my books in England. I love going to London. They're incredibly decent people to deal with. There has been huge back and forth. I think when the Queen of England came to Ireland and said what she said about that the relations, while the relations between governments have been very difficult, the relations between families, some of whom, everyone has cousins in England with English accents now because of the emigration, and that every year people go home to each other. And because of the emigration, well, no, not just the EU, but the emigration that's always gone on between the two islands. And I mean, that's in a way why we're so horrified by the referendum that's going on in Britain at the moment over the possibility of them leaving the European Union, because we joined the same time as they did, and it gave us a sort of freedom. In other words, our ministers went as equals with British ministers to Brussels. With them leaving, it will mean that the border between the north and the south will become even more important, and crossing to England will be moving out of the European Union. We're horrified by it. I mean, the only word I can use is horrified, even that they're having one. But the fact that the polls are suggesting that it's 50-50 is frightening for us and horrifying.